So this is Tona from Instruo. Tona is a saw core analog oscillator. There's like an expanded single voice from the Troika triple oscillator, the first module that Instruo made. Have coarse tuning, fine tuning, linear FM with attenuator, square, ramp or saw, triangle, sine, and a wave-folded output with a fold depth on this slider and a CV attenuator and CV input for the folding. And we also get a sync input. So first, let's have a look on data and a listen to the waveforms. Here's a square, saw or ramp, triangle, sine, great pure sine, especially for a saw core oscillator, and the folder. Now, for those of you that have seen the TSL oscillator demo, and I suggest you watch that after this if you haven't, it's a much softer folder. So it feels a little bit warmer, it feels like it can be a bit more adventurous or kind of full on with your modulation in a way that's maybe going to be slightly harsher on the TSL. But of course, if you want the harsher folding and symmetry, TSL gives you it. So they're a great pairing. Triangle core on TSL, saw core on this, Tona. Slightly different wave folding. They're a great pairing. So let's tune this down a little bit. And just fold this up slowly. Let's quickly take a listen to the linear FM. Let's do that over the triangle wave. Change the pitch of my modulating oscillator. It's just a sine wave that I've put into here. So let's check out the sync, and this is just a square wave from another oscillator. I'm going to sweep Tona's tuning while keeping the synced oscillator's tuning static. You can hear it locking into these harmonic integers. Let's raise the pitch of the syncing oscillator. Higher syncing oscillator again. got a great sync sound, and again that's quite different from the TSL, so it makes for a great pairing. So that's it for this analog oscillator in terms of its features. Let's get into some various patches, using it around the rest of the system. So to start with, we'll check out the Wavefolder. Have a sequence into the volt per octave on Tona. The Wavefolder output is just coming into the scope. It's the bottom trace. You can't really see it. There's no nice way to see LFO movement and audio on a scope at once, but it's there as a little visual. That's going into a VCA with an envelope moving in time with the sequence, just to open and close the amplitude, but with no tonal changes to the oscillator, so we can really hear what's going on. I then have an LFO, which is a top line on data, the scope, and that's coming in to modulate the fold. So let's turn up the depth of folding and I'll play around with the LFO's rate. So there's a nice range of folded tones in there. So here's a patch with the ramp wave. It's currently dry through this aperture filter, going into a VCA with an envelope controlling its level. Now it's rich and it gives this filter loads to chew on. So let's take this fully wet. And there's just loads to go at. Now let's sync this oscillator as well. Take it dry so you can hear the oscillator's raw tone. And while still modulating Tona's volt per octave, we're getting some interesting shifts in tone, which works great with that filtering. But if we move the volt per octave over to our syncing source, and tune up Tona slightly, there's loads of really cool sync sounds. So for this patch, let's take a look at the linear FM that we heard earlier just quickly. Now I have another oscillator playing the same pitch sequence. The triangle wave here is just going out into a VCA, and again an envelope to that VCA. Really simple. There's some delay that I'm going to bring in shortly, but we'll leave that out for now. Let's turn up the linear FM. It's a sine wave that's coming in. Let's play around with the tuning of the modulating oscillator. Another thing with FM that's really nice is to sync your carrier oscillator, the one you're listening to and modulating, and the modulating oscillator. So I have a wave coming out of the modulating oscillator. Let's sync Tona to it and see how the FM then responds. I mean, pausing the scope, it's nothing like a triangle anymore. Play around with the tuning of the modulating oscillator. Got like a funny stepped ramp there. pull the sync. So the FM and sync work great together. So for this patch, we're going to use Tona as an LFO. Its sine out is coming into the scope, and then to modulate aperture, the filtering the TSL. I'm also doing some FM modulation, or rather amplitude modulation of aperture as well. Keep things dirty. Now, this is as low as we can get it to go. But as we did with TSL, and you can with other oscillators, we can patch in a negative voltage to slow it down. That's -4 volts going in to the volt per octave. And you can hear it slows it down quite significantly. Now, one thing that's cool with this analog this analog oscillator, is that we can hard sync to reset it. So and you can hear it resetting and interrupting the flow of that LFO. And you can see that there, it's coming up and then being reset back down to its 0 point. So for this final patch, let's make some percussion sounds. Now I'm coming out with a folded out into a VCA, and an envelope is opening and closing it. This is tuned quite low, so make sure you've got headphones on or some decent speakers. Now, we've got the volt per octave patched in already. I've got another envelope triggered at the same rate as the one opening the VCA. Let's turn up my envelope externally. That's giving us a nice hard thump. Let's play around with the envelope times, modulating the volt per octave. Now we've got a signal coming into the Wavefolder, and to start with, this is going to be the same envelope as my pitch modulation. Adds this hard click on the front of the sound. Which just a little bit of can be great to get a thicker transient that's going to punch it through your mixes. Let's try the envelope that's modulating the amplitude on the external VCA. And because that's longer, it's not really good for kicks, or at least not kicks that I'd use. But again, just a tiny bit of it can just give a bit more thump on the front end of the kick. But let's move to triggering this from a different rhythm. And we'll patch our Wavefolder modulation into a sequence. We'll get some great industrially bass kick type tones. So thanks for watching this video on the Instruo Tona. Be sure to go check out the video on the TSL, as well as other videos from Instruo and lots of other modular videos on my channel. Hit like, subscribe, comment, go support me on Patreon if you'd like early access to videos ad-free, and you'd also like the bonus content that people get over there. Cheers for watching.